Is Jake Weber totally off the deep end on General Hospital? Don't forget, Elizabeth Weber's second-born has a very sketchy history. For a couple of months, Liz Weber's dealt with strange incidents. Some wondered if Elizabeth herself was responsible for the strange deeds. But a GH insider says there's no DID, dissociative identity disorder, plot ahead for her. So, if she's not crazy, then who's responsible? Could it be Jake Weber, Liz's son with Jason Morgan? There are several reasons General Hospital fans could suspect this young man. In 2015, Jake was liberated from Helena Cassadine. But, her influence reappeared 2 years later. Now, the teenager has no alibi to get him off the hook. Plus, many of the incidents point to someone close to Liz. And he meets both requirements. Sure, it could be that Betsy Frank, Deborah Strang, is responsible. But she's too obvious of a choice. It's far more likely that Betsy is a red herring. And she's not the culprit. If you watch for red flags in scenes with the team, they're flying. Do you recall the strange history of Jake Weber on General Hospital? You might recall that he died back in 2011. And that's because his granddad hit him driving drunk. Luke Spencer was liquored up behind the wheel. And he plowed into toddler Jake. It was a sad scene when he died. But, it was a soap twist. Years later, we found out he survived. And he'd been living for years with wicked Helena. It turns out she brainwashed him. He was brought home but questions lingered. Then, at the nurses' ball in 2017, he was ordered to unleash the Chimera virus. He was hallucinating Helena telling him to do things on General Hospital. But that wasn't all. Recall, Jake smashed a window and lied back in the Drew/Jason days. Plus, he hurt one of his brothers. And he smashed a family photo and fibbed. And he shoved Sam McCall down some stairs. So, there are years of sketchy incidents with Jake Weber to make him a viable candidate in the latest mystery. Now, let's look at the latest mystery. Jake Weber is capable of doing all the things happening to Elizabeth. Recall, her wedding ring showed up out of nowhere. And he would have access. Getting into the locker room at GH would have no problem since his mom's co-workers all know him. And he definitely could have burned down Franco's, Roger Howarth, studio. Plus, he had access to the keys because Liz had them. The same goes for Liz's wedding dress. So, her son could have shredded it then put it there for her to find. And as for the painting that showed up on General Hospital, that also makes sense. If he burned Franco's studio, he could have moved the painting. And then it would be easy for Jake to put it on the mantle for his mom to find. If he did this, what made him snap? Losing Franco and Jason both could push him over the edge. So, if Jake Weber is doing this, is it a callback to Helena's brainwashing? Or the result of him losing his father and father figure within a year? And this bringing a new man around, Hamilton Finn, may push Jake to the breaking point. Even though Finn's saying all the right things. Wait to see if Jake's the culprit.